I do believe we found one here. What you gotta look for is a straight tree with no branches, hardly any branches. So when you do the frame and bending, it'll be easier. Won't have a place for it to break. And you need a lot of moisture, so this one's real close to the water. It looks like it received a lot of moisture last summer. It's supposed to be kind of yellowish, but this one will do right here. It's alive. I checked it out. Be careful when you get ashore at this time of year. So I checked it out here, and I do have a knife mark here somewhere. So it is a live tree. And perfect. I can make 2 sets of snowshoes out of this one. All right, I'll cut it down. We're in the process of cutting up the logs for our snowshoes, and this is the top part of the tree. So we're going to color that, so we'll know which is the top side, because it bends better when it's on the right side when you're framing it in the front of the snowshoes. So to do that, what you need is to put it right here. A reminder when you check when you're looking for a log in the shoreline, usually in the creeks is where you'll find your best logs that have a lot of moisture in them, and usually I select them after it's been cold, so most of the sap is off of them and frozen. This way they would frame along a lot better. They won't warp during the warm months. It'll keep for a long time when you do bend them. So a few tools that you will need when you're doing your cutting. So we're just going to cut now. Here we got our chainsaw. We got a measuring tape, a rope, hammer. I got some nails in my pocket. We're going to make these snowshoes 43 inches long and about 7 inches in the middle. So that way you'll have your racing snowshoes that length. So we'll measure that. Now is we're making our line straight, so when we cut with the chainsaw, we won't be going all over the place. So this is what we do here. bit of marker. We make sure we have a sharp chainsaw, so sharpen that up a little bit here, quickly. It's about -30 today. It's chilly going down. It's already, sun's already set. I usually keep my chainsaw sharp, so I'm just doing a touch up here, make sure there's no burrs on the blades, so it doesn't make a straight cut when we do start cutting. Nothing like a dull chainsaw. There's a lot of gas and you go through a lot of chains. Okay, do that. The one side, then you flip it over, and then you do the other same thing on the other side. You measure it, and then you mark it so you can cut on that line. Not good at when it's cold, everything freezes up on you. Hopefully that's good enough. go. That's a start. A pair of snowshoes. I'll have to just trim them down now. I'm marking where I want to trim. Are you videoing?
Yep.
Okay, see? You look at your log, your piece of log. This is why we make them bigger, so we can trim all the bad stuff out. This one's got a knot right here, see? That way, this one right here as well. And if you look on this side, it's a nice piece of wood. But if you look on this side, you have knots here, so you want to get rid of that. So we marked it right here. We're going to get rid of this side. I think we'll be able to get away with that one right there. Only that tip, eh? You don't need that much. Just a reminder, this only works if you're left-handed. It's a left-handed axe. See? One is close with that one. Now let's go into the framing part. Okay, framing stage coming up here. You got that soaking in hot water here. And then after this, a couple hours in there, I'll take them out and then I'll put them in the framer. Here we are, we're inside the house. Get the framing board in place. I got this ready. This is going to be a sidebar. I'm going to hold the frames down. Got this in the back here. This will sit in the back. That'll hold the back down. I got the front over here, and I got a stick here that'll fit right underneath here, so those snowshoes get a nice bend to it. So that's that. And after framing, I'll take another shot. Alright, we got the snowshoe here. We've already started bending it a little bit, so it hopefully we don't break it in the frame. Put it in the frame. And we got this stick here. Like that. We're good there. And remember, you only have a few minutes after you take it out of the steamer. Sometimes you need it. 2 sets of hands. So that's in place now. Now, got our braces. Put our braces in. Braces in. Those things are down. I'll show you a close-up of this product here. It's framed really well. There's one little crack in the back, but that's fixable, and no worries. I know. That's it. Wait for a few days and that thing will dry and I'll put another one on.
Things we see.
Okay, we're going to put the front piece and the back piece to hold the frame in place, and we're also a place where we're going to hold our twine when we do start the webbing and of the snowshoe. Okay, you got some tools here you need. You need a punch, a hammer, a good sharp knife, some drills, some drill bits, and a couple of drills. Or even just one drill is fine. I got some glue here. I pre-cut these outside already when I was doing the snowshoes, when I was grinding them. So these are the dimensions I have in my paperwork here. These ones are 7 inches, and you've got about 7 inches right in the middle here, and then these ones are 42 inches long. So with the outside width, it'll hold a 50-inch snowshoe. So, and that's the legal size for racing snowshoes, about 15. Okay, we've measured it from here to here where the notch is going to sit. It's 15 inches. And in the back, over here, this is into 11 inches and back. And then we marked it these cross pieces we're going to put in. So this is how we measure it, and we cut it right there. We'll drill a couple of holes just a little ways in, and then we'll cut it out and chisel it out. We should be we'll be able to put the sticks in. There's a couple I grooved in already, so those ones are ready to go. And then and I'll show you that as soon as you get done, and we'll put glue on it too. So it's okay, that should be fine there. I don't want to make it too wide, otherwise they floppy there, but the glue will hold it anyway. And that one fits right in there. And I'll put those together, and then I'll show you, come back and I'll show you when. Okay, they're done. For this stage anyway. I left the quick ties on for now until them after they're done. They're drying to that spot. I got some glue on there, and it should be dry within about 5-6 hours. It's carpenter's glue, and then I'll start drilling some holes along here, along over here, I'll make my lines, and then we can start weaving. And that'll be the final stage of the snowshoes. So those are turned out pretty good. I think I brought this a little too far back. Should have had it right about here. But for these ones, that'll be fine. We have, I'm going to drill some holes. If you can see that. I marked them already. That way this, on these braces, right here we're going to tie a piece of nylon. We're going to bring it through here, back through here, and this is where the weaving will be attached to when we do the weaving of the snowshoe. See, I did one side already, so it's almost, that one's done. So that's the process of it's a long process when you're making a snowshoe. It's not easy. It takes a long time, and because I'm by myself, and if we had a team of different stages, we'd be really quick. But I just want to show you how to make the snowshoe, and this is the way I do it. And they have other methods of doing stuff, and I change ways of how I do it as well. And the way my dad taught me. So what he used to do was while he was trapping, he used to scout around. And during the time he was trapping, he would notice, he would pick out the birch tree that was suitable for making snowshoes. And he had that in his mind. This is how I do it now. When I go trapping, I pick out wood that are good for bringing back to the house and using them for my stove. And that's the same thing I look for. Is at the same time I look for a birch tree so I can make snowshoes out of it. Something that's kind of yellowish, growing close to like a muskeg area or close to a creek, and where it's not too much sun, where it can dry up during the summer. So we usually get them after it has cooled off, all the sap is gone and frozen, and this way when you do your framing, it stays bent for a long time. And sometimes the people we make them for bring them back. We either rebend them a little bit, or we can restring them as well. When we do the weaving, I'll do the middle part first, and then that way this will hold together real tight, and then we'll do the front and the back at the same time. So and that's a process, and that's it when that'll be done. I've got a complete finished snowshoe. So as you can see, I put it's not traditional, but I put a bolt in there, screw, and here as well I put glue, and this one's traditional. I tied that up in front with sinew, and that'll hold. And so you got my lacy shirt up. Anyway, my dad told me one time when he was making snowshoes, he said, "Negos, kakitagi agaski hitan, kochi hitaine." It means you You can do whatever you try to do. That's all you got to do is try. This takes a while to learn as your hands get crafty and your mind works at the same time. And they didn't have drills back in the old days. I get the benefit of the technology. They used to use, they used to burn them through with a piece of metal. It was tedious work. It took them a long time to build a pair of snowshoes for themselves. In our language, when we do these parts right here, put these strings on the side of your snowshoes, it's called, in the one we can create hipisimit. Hipisimit, higaspiataskimit. Those are the Cree names of the way we weave our snowshoes. We just copy the lines on the other side. On the other snowshoe we just trace, just mark the hole where the holes are going to be. That way both snowshoes are equal. Process starts. Some people call it weaving, some people call it stringing the snowshoe. So this is the nylon rope I use, and it comes in little strings like this. And I can usually string 4 pairs of snowshoes if that's the last of the rope, and I got to get some more after that. So this rope, how I measure it, it's 6.5 arm lengths long, and that's how I've always measured it when I do my snowshoes, and it always works out. See if you can see what I'm doing here. So we'll go this way. We'll start this way. See, I made these marks right here. This is where the string is gonna come through. This is a long process. Anything you do with snowshoes is a long process, unless you have a help. And most of the stuff I do myself, so, whoops. Try and string it without attaching any other rope. That's how long you want your rope to be. And I usually wrap it around twice. So we got two strands there, and end over there, and then and we start tying it up. And make sure it's nice and tight. sometimes I get caught. The initial part is usually hard to get going, but once you get it going, it's not too bad. Just gotta make sure you take it the right way. A lot of times the nylon rope will tangle up on you, but it's fairly good. Trying to get into that spot where you there. Goes that way. A lot of this stuff is by memory alone, and sometimes it's fairly difficult to remember, but once you get rolling, it's good. You know what to do. Just got to keep the string tight as much as possible. Put one side, and then you pull one side. It's easier that way. On your knee. And then you got to remember Wisaki check. A lot of stories of Wisaki check. We were told when we were young that that a lot of those folklore stories, those tales. There's a lot of teachings in them, and he would say that he'd say on the hills I will be brittle. That's what that says that in the marshlands and the creeks, I will be easy to bend. That's one of the stories that my mom used to tell us when we were young, and that's a teaching for making snowshoes. And so that it's you remember that teaching. tell us about Week-to-Goo as well. Week-to-Goo stories. He used to get scared. My late uncle Joel used to come in the springtime, do some muskrat trapping. He was already old, I remember. And he used to come up and stay at my late grandma's place. That was her sister, her stepmom. And then my dad's brother from a different mother. That's what they say. But they're brothers. And he had the Week-to-Goo stories. We used to go listen to him all the time when he'd come up. He was a good storyteller. This is the way my dad weaved his snowshoes, so I'm going to go back to this because it's a springy kind of rope. When you're running in snowshoes, it springs up and down a lot easier. So we do this early in the morning while it's still dark out. That way, you got something to do in the mornings instead of sitting around waiting for daylight so you can go do your thing outside. I'm also doing some trapping in the process right now. I'm making snowshoes. I love doing that. And also juggling my work in the community with this COVID happening. So that's taking its toll on a lot of our people trying to stay home. I'm trying to stay positive and work with our health teams. Time consuming, but it's doing something, right? Sometimes you can sit on your phone for 2-3 hours and on Facebook and just read stories and a lot of gossip. People get mad, upset about nothing that they can't control, so blaming each other about something. Which is kind of silly, I think. I worked all over the place, in the mines for 29 years. And I used to come home. Sometimes I was 1 month in, 1 month out. I worked in Kyrgyzstan for 2 years. The old part of Russia become its own country. We worked in Taizhen Mountains, about 60 miles from the Chinese border, where we mine gold. And I was there to teach the locals how to run the mill process. So those are my duties as an expat. Back in 1997, 96, 97, 98, 95, 96, 97, yeah. So, but I never gave up my hobbies. One of the hobbies that I love to do is trap. Basically a hobby now. There's no money in it. You know, it makes a good living though, so like you can survive with what you get on your line. You can, you know, at times get a moose, chickens up there, rabbits, all kinds of stuff when we used to eat back in the old days. And so that was a good, wonderful experience. My kids were small at the time, but you know, it's the only way you can bring money home. And make sure they grew up not in poverty. And I encourage everyone to get out there and don't be scared to leave home and to work for a living. Don't stay on the reserve. There's nothing for you on reserve but heartache, and you depend on the system. You can't depend on the system. There's nothing there for you. My late dad, Johnny McKenzie, this is how he showed me how to do this, and you know, this is a good way of weaving. He figured it out what we wanted us when we were competing in trapper competition, snowshoe race. I've raced that snowshoe race in the PAW for many years. I used to finish that race quite a bit. I came in second one time. I was close to winning, but I couldn't catch up to Big John, I call him, John Hendricks. He was cramping up at the end. I was coming around the corner. He crawled over the finish line before I could catch him. I should have picked up my pace a little earlier, but my fault, right? Piano. Yaskimian. Omottakin se tekättikin. Ipisimianota. Skimianote. You do the ends as well. I'll get my mom to do that. She's still healthy, and she's 82 years old, and she's still doing good. So she loves doing this. She loves doing the ends. So I'll continue to let her do that for the snowshoes that I make, you know, until she can teach us as well. I'm always learning. So look at that. That's a start, and I will straighten these out as we go along, and then and hopefully we can with this one. This is called the Girth Hitch. So I'll go through here, up here, and in through there, and I'll show you the process. So this is that tightens up everything as you go along, and it goes a little faster as you end near the end of the rope, and when you're getting done. So it just goes a little faster. You can see that. And keep them aligned as you go along. Like most snowshoe makers will have their own way of making weaving. This is the way my dad used to do it, and this is how I'm going to continue to do it. I have different ways, a few different ways of weaving, but this is a good way. It keeps that snowshoe tight, that rope tight. So you see it here, and then you come around right there. So you keep that rope right there and you pull it through, and the next one you keep this one open and then you pull it through here. As you tighten it up, it tightens right up by itself. That's that girth hitch. That way you're not always holding onto your ropes, and it's better, and it's bouncy. I'll move it up and down here, and then it'll stay in one spot. Yes, but it'll settle to the bottom as you work your snowshoe. So looking fairly good. That's the girth hitch. Okay, we are live at my mom's place. I'm gonna get her to do the weaving on the front, the snowshoes on the back, and I'm gonna make her an offering. Let's go meet Cindy out of sweet grass. Kysikta tjumuin. Katso hänen eikä kauheasti tekee. Saat sä nämä, mikä katsomaan?
Kysy det här så det ser.
Ja katsi se tiedä. Okei. Tätä tuittaman siellä tähän mikin siinä. Vai ne isken ohamask teisse. Kyllä mä isken ohamask. Sitä mä tähän hopittavan.
Hopittaa.
Isko. Mitä sitä mä tähän hopittavan?
Mutta hoittiin nyt semmoista. Niin on suuremmoista. Joo, se iskattamaan on. Tää on koulutus.
Okei. Jos tahtse. Joo, mä tihtäin niin, että äkäs kassuin.
Mä hörssä vähän saan otsinoita vaan, mutta saan se, että...
Hämähkus. Hämähkus. Just se, että on.
Jos vähän soneista ja saa.
Tästä vielä aina humpan.
Ja just.
Nyt ei tahut. Ei patsi kassuin.
That's what though.
No, ja, just come on.
Buonanotte.
Oh. Tuommoista hupittavan niin kohpuun.
Yeah, up here.
Ja, mistä ei laito teijääksä?
What? Not this room.
Mhm. The magic of the lighter. Taas kiinni no mom.
Doing.
Mom is 81 years old. She still enjoys weaving the snowshoes. And she does an excellent job. The middle part is a little hard. You gotta pull hard on it, and then it's the front and the back are not so hard. You don't have to use brute strength for that part. Snowshoes up and completed. Just gotta put the straps on now and we're good.